Hey y'all, welcome back to At Home with Chef Jolie. And today we're gonna make my delicious Mezcal Mule, and we're gonna pair that with my chicken tortilla soup. So come on, let's get into it. Okay, so we're gonna put a little bit of a twist on a Mezcal Mule, and we're gonna use smoky, deep, and mysterious mezcal. If you like tequila and you're into delicious smoky flavors, you'll love this mezcal. So I went to Mexico this summer for a bit of a vacation, and every day that I was there, I was drinking mezcal. I even picked up this bottle on the way back home. That's how good it is. I have about 2.5 ounces of mezcal, and then I'm gonna add to it a little bit of Agave Nectar, which is gonna sweeten it up just a little bit. And to that, I'm gonna add fresh lime juice. You know, I always tell y'all, don't be buying that lime juice out of a bottle in a grocery store. I don't care who told you that was all right. It's not all right. So I'm gonna squeeze that in there like that. Then we're gonna shake it up and top it off with some ginger beer. All right, so ginger beer is non-alcoholic, okay? So I know some people get that confused because the word beer is in there, but there's no alcohol in ginger beer. It's just fresh and delicious. All right, so gonna pop open our ginger beer and then just top it off like that. And you know, I always say that you have to garnish your cocktails just like you garnish your food and make them look pretty. So I have a little bit of a lime. Now the only thing left to do, you know, quality control. I feel like I'm back in Mexico. Oh my gosh. And the only thing that I would pair with this would be my chicken tortilla soup. I mean, it's fall, the temperatures are starting to cool down. So I think it's time to go over and make that tortilla soup. Let's go. Now it's time to make my chicken tortilla soup. We got the Mezcal Mule, now we gotta put something with it. Looks like a lot of ingredients here, but you will never buy soup in a can again once I teach you this recipe. So we have some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Dark meat is gonna make it moist and delicious. We've got some crushed tomatoes, some diced tomatoes, avocado. We have some crispy tortilla strips, some onion. We have some Monterey Jack shredded cheese, veggie oil, and I already told y'all what my favorite herb is. I know what you were thinking. No, it's cilantro. My favorite herb is cilantro. And we've got some cayenne pepper, some cumin, some garlic, chicken stock. Y'all know we're gonna have a dab of Tortilla, right? So we're gonna season up the chicken, we're gonna sear it up, and then we're gonna head over to the stove and make the soup. Looks like a lot of ingredients, but once you see how quickly I put it together, you're gonna be making this, your family's gonna want you to make it, everybody's gonna want you to make this chicken tortilla soup. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of vegetable oil. And whenever I season my proteins, I typically always add either veggie oil or I add a little bit of olive oil, and that just helps the seasoning kind of adhere to the meat. So a dab of Tortilla, generous amount, because we're gonna massage it all into the chicken. Next is cumin. If we're making anything that's Mexican or Tex-Mex, you're gonna typically find cumin as a part of the recipe. That's it, those two seasonings, and then I'm gonna get in here with my hands. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty in the kitchen. And the reason that we sear this chicken instead of just tossing it into all of the chicken stock is because I want the flavor to be in the chicken, not just in the broth of the soup. So when we hit this chicken in a very hot pan, like you'll see in a second, you'll hear that sear and you'll get all of that agave and that cumin. It's going to be adhered to the meat, okay? So that's it. I think that looks pretty good. Let's head over to the stove and let's put it all together. Let's go. We're over at the stove, and I tell y'all on every episode, preheat your pots and pans, not just the oven. So I have my pot preheated, and I have a little bit of vegetable oil. I'm gonna add that, and now we're going to sear our chicken. Go. I fell in love with chicken tortilla soup when I first moved to Dallas. There's a restaurant that's not around anymore, and I hate it, but I think I have kind of maybe improved their chicken tortilla soup. There was a Tex-Mex restaurant called Luna de Noche. So if you're from Texas, you probably remember it, but they had the most amazing chicken tortilla soup. And this is kind of my take on it. So I have those chicken thighs, and you know, chicken thighs can be a little bit fatty, which is what makes them nice and juicy too. But trim a little bit of that extra fat off, because you don't want that in your soup. So I've trimmed these down a little bit and got them nice and seasoned with the dabaduya and some cumin. And I'm gonna sear both sides just to get that seasoning nice and soaked in to the chicken. Then I have over here our chicken stock. That's the next thing that I'm gonna add. And then I'm gonna add all the rest of the ingredients. And when I say that canned soup will be a thing of the past for you, I mean it. And this is a soup that you can actually make ahead and freeze and then just pull it out whenever you want to serve it for your family. So it's gonna save you time, and it's gonna save you all of that sodium and preservatives that are in canned soup. So we got the chicken going, and then I have here about 3 liters of chicken stock. And I'm just gonna add it right on top. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen an Instagram reel with, a little bit of a tease of this recipe. So here it is. Now you get to see it from start to finish, and you also get the recipe. See, that's what happens when you come over here and you're at home with Chef Jolie. We're gonna turn that up high. You wanna bring it to a roaring boil. Next, I'm going to add in, I have both crushed tomatoes and I have diced tomatoes, because I want a little bit of that tomato flavor in there, but I also want to be able to have some tomatoes with a little bit of a bite. So that's why I have both the crush, and I also have the diced tomatoes. And so both of these are canned tomatoes. If you want to use fresh tomatoes, by all means, go ahead, use those fresh tomatoes. But in this case, with the soup, you're really not gonna be able to tell the difference, because it's all gonna boil down and cook together. So you won't be able to tell the difference. So it's up to you. Next, I have some chopped onion. This is about a half of small to medium yellow onion. I'm gonna add that in. And then next, gonna add a dabaduya, because it is the everyday seasoning. You can use it every day on everything. And it's 40% less sodium than a lot of those other seasoning salts that you're using. So cumin, we added cumin to the chicken, but we wanna add some more cumin to the actual soup. And if you like spice, I always say, trust your gut, not the recipe, unless it's my grandmother's mac and cheese. And you gotta follow that whole recipe to the T. So add as much cayenne pepper as you like. If you don't like things spicy, then you can omit the cayenne pepper. If you like it really spicy, then add as much as you like. And I have some fresh minced garlic here, and then we're just gonna add a little bit of garlic, just like that. Okay, 2 more ingredients for this super easy soup. My favorite herb, cilantro. And we're gonna add cilantro a couple of times because once it boils and cooks down in this soup, you're still gonna have that flavor of cilantro, but at the end, when we add more, it's gonna give you that bright flavor of cilantro, which is what I really love about cilantro. It's so bright and so fresh. The last ingredient is going to be lime. Y'all thought I was gonna say wine, because I'm always adding wine and everything, but no, I'm adding some fresh lime just to give a little more brightness, just a pop of acidity, just to kind of balance out all the tomato and the cumin and all those really deep flavors. So this is about half of a small lime, and you're gonna bring it to a boil. And what you wanna do is let the chicken just boil for about and it depends on how thick your chicken thighs are. If your chicken thighs are really thick and meaty, it may take a longer time, maybe about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. But if your chicken thighs are average size or a little on the thin side, it may take about 1 hour for everything to boil and for the chicken to get to the place where you can just shred it easily with a fork or with a pair of tongs. So that's it. You seared some chicken, you added some chicken stock or chicken broth, and then you just added all of your ingredients and you're gonna let it boil and get happy. And in a few minutes, we're gonna have the most delicious chicken tortilla soup that you have ever had in your life. So let's finish it up and then let's go taste it. All right, we have our soup done, and I just wanna show you, like after you boil the chicken for that 1.5 to 2 hours, what it should look like. This is what you're looking for. So I have a piece of our chicken here, and it should easily, with a fork, just shred, just like that. That is what you're looking for. So you shred the chicken. My mouth always waters every single time it's time to taste the food. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, you shred the chicken like that, and you can see the color of the chicken that has like soaked in all of the seasonings and the garlic and the onions and the cilantro. I can't wait to taste this. So let me hurry up. I'm gonna go ahead and add the chicken right back to the soup. And so you can do this part actually like the last maybe 5 or 10 minutes of the boiling process so that you can add it back to the soup. So you just pull out the chicken thighs, shred them just like I did, and then you go ahead and let it boil for the last 10 minutes or so. All right, now it's my favorite part. It's time to taste it. So remember that restaurant I told you that I love, Luna de Noche? This is how they would do their chicken tortilla soup. So in the bottom of the bowl, they would bring it to your table with a little bit of fried tortilla strips. And this is just corn tortilla, by the way. So you can go to the grocery store and get you some corn. This is yellow. I like the yellow tortilla. They have white too. If you can't find yellow, just make sure it's corn tortillas. And then maybe about a tablespoon of the Monterey Jack, my favorite herb. Put cilantro down in the bottom. And then this is what's gonna set it off. I've already cut this avocado, and I'm just going to cube it real quick like this. And then that's gonna go down in the bottom too. When I first, I know I keep talking about when I first moved here to Dallas, but there's so many restaurants. If you've ever been to Dallas, you know how many restaurants are here. But I thought, when I moved here, I thought I didn't even like avocado because where I moved here from, Atlanta, at the time, there weren't that many great Mexican restaurants. So the first time that I had guacamole at a restaurant in Atlanta, it wasn't good guacamole. I know y'all done came up Atlanta since I left on the restaurant scene, but when I had this avocado here in Texas at Luna de Noche, I was like, what have I been missing? Let's not even get into the avocados in Mexico. So much better than what I had. So that's what it looks like. All that goodness is down in your soup, and then you just go right on top of it with your soup. See, all that chicken is in there. You get the broth. And the best part is, with the soup being nice and hot like it is, it's going to melt that cheese. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. It's time to taste it. Let's see what we did here. And then the tortillas, so you got the soft, just rich avocado. Then you have the melty cheese. And then you have the crunchiness of the tortilla strips. And you got lime and cilantro and cayenne pepper and a dab of Tortilla. I mean, the flavors are just amazing. Okay. I can't even talk. This is so good. And it was easy, super easy, super good. Look at that cheese. Let me get one more taste. Y'all, go to your pantry, look at the canned soup, say goodbye, because now you got the cheat codes. You can make all sorts of soups just using the techniques that we did here today. Sear your meats, get your chicken stock or your beef stock or whatever it is, and save the sodium, save the preservatives, and have some delicious fresh soup. So that's all I got for y'all today. Okay, y'all, you know what I'm gonna say. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when I'm cooking up something good and sharing some delicious recipes. Like, and be sure to share with your friends, because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for being at home with Chef Jolie, and I will see you next time right here.